Hello, good morning, welcome ladies and gentlemen to Ice Cream Uploads here on Tuesday the 28th of September. My God, it's so close to being October already. This year has been an absolute joke, but you are joining me here today on my own as Graham is currently preoccupied with actually doing some work stuff for once. So it's just me today, just the dollop. We're going to go through all the video game news, obviously, that we've managed to scrape together this morning. We're going to discuss all that with you guys and hopefully make your day go a little bit easier so that you don't... Basically, we do this so that you don't have to. Do you know what I mean? We like to have this conversation. And speaking about conversation, we go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m.-ish. It's 20 past 11 now, but, you know, work things come first. We get all that stuff out of the way. We come on, we give you a show. You can then watch us on demand later on in the afternoon if you can't join us live over at twitch.tv/IceCreamUploads, or get us on any of our on-demand services later on at your own convenience. But the beauty of being in the live chat is that you can voice your thoughts and opinions. We can then have our thoughts and opinions, and we can have a nice little chit-chat about all the video game news that we want to bring you for today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, it is just me today. As much as I love talking, it's very difficult to be able to have a two-sided conversation when you are the only person having the conversation. So these shows tend to be a little bit shorter than obviously the conversation that me and Graham have, which usually lasts. It's meant to be an hour's podcast. It does end up being about an hour and 20 minutes every single time. You can't really condense it down once you get us both going, especially with you guys in the chat throwing gifties left, right, and centre in the morning. Like our introduction, literally for like the last 3 days, has been about 25 minutes long, which it shouldn't really be that long, but you guys just keep on coming in clutch and then giving us donations and gifties and stuff like that we can't ignore. That we are very grateful for you to be able to do that. But what I'm going to do first of all is remind you guys that on Monday you will find out who will be winning a copy of NBA 2K22 as part of our loot drop prize. And I remind you that over the last 4 days, I think it is, we've ended up getting gifted 25 gifties by you guys to the rest of our community. So I'm going to put this out there for you guys now that may not have already done this, but if you haven't got your Twitch tied into your Discord account in our server, then you will not have a chance at being able to win this. That is entirely up to you guys. The area is there for you guys to be able to be included in the loot drop. If you have been gifted a gifty or you have subscribed to us for this month, then please make sure that your Twitch account is tied to your Discord account. The only way that you're able to find that out is if there's an area there for you called Loot Drop. If you cannot see that area, you have not done it right. It's something that we cannot do. We cannot put you into that category yourself. It's entirely up to you guys to make sure that you have done that. All you need to do, go to settings, go to connections, and make sure that your Twitch is connected to your to your Discord. That's all you need to do. As soon as that is applicable and you are using the same account on Discord that you are using on Twitch, and you've tied them together, you will be included in there. We've been doing this now for about 16 months, 17 months, I think. Spike's won it twice. Pirates never won it, despite being in it for every single month for that time. Gagad's won it. We've had Gary Clark win it. We've had Precision win it. We've had Chappers win it. We've had Bacon Chin win it. All you guys have won something, whether or not it's a ICU merch, whether or not it's a brand new video game, a game of your choice, or whatever it may have been for that month. You guys have won something, and that is just to say thank you for supporting us each and every month, because without you guys, the lights and mics will not be kept on. So we very much appreciate all the support that you guys give us. That is your PSA for today. You do only have less than a week. You have 6 days to make sure that you have done that. So if you haven't done that, tough tits. Gaga gets more of a chance to be able to come in and win something because he keeps on playing. Pirate, again, has never won anything. I mean, Nietzscheo has come in and given us about 15 gifties in the last 4 days. So he has dramatically reduced your guys' chances at winning. If you want to blame someone, blame him. But he is an absolute legend, and we very much appreciate it. The rest of you guys that have been given as well, you've been absolute fucking legendary behaviour over the last couple of days. So again, we very much appreciate it. But that is probably enough waffle as an introduction for you guys. We do have 5 news stories today. Again, it's going to be heavily one-sided. That's why we need you guys in the chat. I do think that me and Graham both have chat bot on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close mine off so that we aren't getting duplicated messages. He isn't going to be here because he's currently in a call this morning with the rest of the team. So I'm going to turn mine off. Hopefully it won't come out twice. But anyway, we've got Tezbad. He's in the chat early doors. Enix is here early doors. Both saying hello. Tesbad says, how evening? How are you? I am fantastic, mate. This is probably the best I've felt in the last couple of days. However, my cough has been a little bit worse. Like generally, full body, I feel okay. Today I feel fine. It's just my cough is getting a little bit phlegmy now, which it has been doing. It's been a bit more chesty, as you can see. I've got the Albus oil ticking off behind me as well to try and get that cleared out as soon as possible. But yeah, I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully that's not the bright light of death. So we're going to be coming out the other end of it as sooner rather than later, hopefully. Next Gen Base says, is dollop time? It is. Graham having a line after his late night pub endeavours. I was actually in bed because, again, I keep on mentioning this, but I haven't been that well for the last week. So I was actually in bed last night for about 9:45. I got my phone vibrated because I've got notifications on Twitter for Ice Cream Upload stuff, and you guys should as well if you haven't already done that. So that rumbled. I seen Graham was going live. I was like, fucking hell, this guy, he's got some dailies to tick off. That's why he's going live. So I did that, fire and forget. I asked him this morning. He said it was just a 3-hour stream this morning, so that probably put him at like 11:30, 12:15 last night. The guy's an animal. I wish I enjoyed PUBG as much as he does, because it's just, I don't want to say it's an easy game to be able to stream, because it genuinely isn't, because you're fighting against another 100 people, but the enjoyment is playing with other people, in my opinion, and I'm just not that good at the game. So it's one of them things, like, I take enjoyment out of enjoying the game with the likes of Lotus, the likes of West, the likes of Graham, all you guys that are playing that game every single day. Steel Bonsai, I know I'm forgetting people, and that is no disrespect to you guys, because you are obviously a lot better than me, but names are escaping my head right now. But you guys are legends. You carry on ploughing through that like nobody's business. Gary Clark series says, all right, babe, hello. You were playing New World. We know, hi. Are you playing New World? Mate, no one can play New World at the moment. I went into Cobra's stream, and for about 45 minutes, it was just a loading screen of what position he was in the queue. No one's able to play that game at the morning by the looks of it, which is a shame, but it's a nice problem to have when your server keeps on falling down, because that many people want to play your game. So hopefully I'll go into bigger and better things. We all know that ESO is the best MMORPG out there. They don't have that problem. They did have that problem at launch. It was fucking shit. But now it's the best MMORPG out there, in my opinion. And that's not because I'm a biased Elder Scrolls fan at all. Gary is now lurking at the back of the ice cream van. Thank you very much for dropping that in. And he says, I've been waiting all weekend. I've been ill all weekend with that flu thing going around, gone past shivering stage now, just coughing and sneezing. You see, I've never felt really, really rough. I've just felt, then again, if you feel fatigued, I suppose that is the case. But yeah, I mean, yesterday I was just fucked. I was just genuinely fucked. But it's not killed me to the point where I haven't been able to get out of bed or anything like that. It's just this cough is doing my head in. Like, you're coughing that much that you're giving yourself an headache, and that's another problem to deal with. But this is a time of year usually where I would get sick anyway. Like, when the change in the seasons happened towards the winter time, that is when I usually end up falling apart. And last year that wasn't the case, because we wasn't allowed out. As soon as you're allowed out, this comes back again. So obviously, it's just the way that the world is. It wasn't COVID. I've been doing lateral flow tests pretty much every day to ensure that I haven't been doing, that I haven't got it. But yeah, it's just one of them things. I've learned to deal with it for the 30 years that I've been on this planet. It's just one of the things, when it gets to winter, my body goes into recovery mode. But anyway, they can, many are, says Tesbad. But anyway, that's enough waffling for me for the time being. I can feel like Cavani is starting to rub the back of my throat now, so I'm probably going to be drinking a lot more during this podcast than I usually do, which is saying something. Here we go. Oof. Nice bit of Yorkshire tea this morning. But anyway, I have got 5 news stories, so I'm going to fly through them. I'm going to talk through them, and we'll see what type of COVID. Coco's just got out of bed, so that means one thing. I'm going to have to let her out anytime soon. But yeah, let's get into the first news story. I need to make sure that I've got this on the screen. There we go, potentially. Yep, there we go. Okay, right. I'm going to switch to the news story because she is behind me now and she's trying to get out. So we'll flick to this, and I'll be just 2 seconds. We'll let her out. I swear to God, she literally waits until we go live and then decides to go out. Like, it's probably because I'm making too much noise. Usually, this room is completely silent. I might have something on in the background, like I might have someone stream or something, but there's no talking. Are clearly annoying, and she's going to go and get in our bed in a second. But anyway, written on Eurogamer by Matt Wales, Twitch reportedly launching new security tools to combat hate raiding. Streamers can require phone verification to use chat. Twitch is reportedly preparing to introduce a range of new features designed to help tackle the increasingly prevalent phenomenon of hate raiding, including the ability for some streamers to restrict chat commenting to those users whose account have been through phone verification. Twitch's controversial raid feature was originally designed as a positive community tool that would enable streamers to redirect all of their viewers currently watching their broadcast to a target channel as an easy way to share audiences. However, malicious users quickly began exploiting the feature, setting up dummy accounts and bots to flood the chats of chats are often marginalized streamers and subject them to doxing, harassment, and attacks. Despite Twitch conceding it needed to do more to address these issues, many streamers were unhappy with what they continued a lack of meaningful response from the company, leading to a successful 24-hour protest last month. Now, however, Twitch is reportedly readying to roll out a new security feature designed to combat hate raiding. And this is the screenshots that you can see from Zach Busey. And it just looks like the Twitch background or the Twitch back end for your channel. You're able to turn some features on and off. Here's an English screenshot for the current implementation. My original source did not provide a screenshot as it's subject to change. So this is obviously something that they have started to put in the back end for you to be able to turn off and on in your chat to potentially put up stumbling blocks for them to be able to not do this going forward. But anyway, as the article continues, these customization tools, as uncovered by reporter Zach Busey and a German streamer Dragon via Kotaku, aim is to give streamers better control over their channel by letting them specify exactly who gets chat privileges, restricting access with more granular options available to viewers who have verified an email address or preferred phone numbers with Twitch. As Kotaku notes, streamers have previously expressed a preference for phone verification as it means combating hate raids. Given these with ease with alternative email addresses can be acquired too quickly, create new accounts and continue harassment. Hopefully, Twitch's new tools will provide a more effective layer of security against malicious attacks. Twitch recently launched legal action against 2 individuals identified as persistent hate raiders in a bid to help put an end to these vile attacks against members of our community. So, I'm just going to open a window one sec. All going off this morning, isn't it? Oh. Getting bullied by this Bulbasaur that's kicking my ass. But anyway, as you can see, it looks like Twitch have started to pull their finger out. Is that a polite way of saying it? It looks like they have started to begin a resistance against these hate raiders. I was actually in MC Fixer's stream yesterday, and he's got a bot in there that stopped this. It's the first time that I'd heard of it. It's something called SiriBot, and I don't know whether or not it just finds all of the accounts or it puts in keywords that will stop it and prevent these from coming into your chat. I'm not too sure, like I need to read up on that, but it's interesting that these bots have been created by other members of the community rather than something that Twitch is directly creating for people and tools to be able to use. The phone verification method is probably the best one. Now, I on Twitter have got it's like a content filter, so that if you don't have your Twitter account connected to your phone, then you can't. If you do reply to something of mine, then I won't see it. The amount of shit that I used to get when I was part of Pez University, the amount of shit that I used to get constantly because I wasn't replying to everyone, it looked like bot accounts, but it genuinely wasn't. So I just put the content filter on, and all them scrubs ended up getting put by the wayside. So having a phone verification method is fantastic. Like, I love this stuff. Is it a little bit too late? Maybe, but any kind of measure now is massively welcomed. We do need more of this stuff being rolled out quickly. It's one of them things, though, isn't it? Like, there is so many big companies nowadays that will hire the people who've hacked them to be able to put in security measures. And something like this, I can't believe it's taken so long for them to be able to roll out. But it's better late than never, in my opinion. But having people create bots quicker than what Twitch has been able to roll out and help protect their streamers. I don't know any of the facts about how many people have potentially left Twitch and moved over platforms, but I imagine it's probably quite a few, because Shogun Ash, you guys probably know him, is a fantastic streamer, fantastic content creator. Shit at Pez, but he is a fantastic content creator. But he was dabbling with the idea of just leaving Twitch altogether because it was happening to him. But probably one of the nicest guys you will ever meet in your life, getting attacked by fucking mindless idiots and things like that. Like, no one deserves that. Genuinely, no one deserves it, regardless of whether or not the top guy or an absolute wanker. No one deserves that kind of discrimination. So he was genuinely thinking about moving from Twitch over to the likes of YouTube, maybe over to Facebook. Who knows? So these things and these measures are better late than never, but overall, this stuff has taken way too long for them to be able to try and put something in there. I know hackers will always try different ways. There will always be a workaround for them and they will find it. It's just whether or not Twitch needs to act quicker, in my opinion, and trying to get this sorted out and help people out quicker, because eventually you just lose your audience because they don't want to see it. I don't want to see that in chat, and I'm most of the time not even streaming, so I don't want to see that. I'm a mod in a lot of channels, so I can go in and I can try and stop that shit from happening and get these accounts blocked or get them purged or whatever to remove that stuff sometimes before the streamer ends up seeing it, which is obviously nice that people have mods to be able to help them out with that. But some of these channels don't have that. They don't have that luxury, and they might only have 4 or 5 people in their channels, and then this stuff comes in, and then you can't. The streamer will see it first, and you don't want anyone to be able to get put through that. So this is always welcomed. Again, it's still better late than never. But yeah, I don't really know what else more to say about this. I just wish they'd have done it a little bit sooner rather than relying on the community to try and figure out ways to try and stop this from happening. But hopefully this will get nipped in the bud now, and it won't be a continuous thing that's going to be going on. Unfortunately, the people have a way of being able to find ways around this stuff quite quickly, and hopefully the 2 biggest people who have been sued for this and identified. Oh God, Graham's clipped it. I'm not apologising for nothing. In terms of me calling out Shogun Ash Live a shit Pez player. But yeah, in terms of all of this going around, this hopefully will be a massive stumbling block, especially in the fact that these 2 people have now been sued. Obviously, it is still happening. As I said, I was in Fixer's stream yesterday, and he did end up getting it blocked by this Siri bot. Again, I need to look into that one. It might be something that we might be able to tweet about and then get everyone to install this onto their channels. Obviously, the bigger blanket of coverage that we can give it, as well as other content creators, it can just be put onto everybody's channel and get that included into their back end, shall we say. But yeah, this is a step in the right direction, albeit a little bit too late in my opinion, especially when community members have been helping out other streamers before Twitch has been able to, which is kind of bizarre. But clearly they don't have that many people that are that capable of creating code to be able to combat this. Maybe they need to look at trying to bring new people in with newer ideas rather than relying on the people that potentially don't want to say don't know what they're doing, because that's a fucking horrendous thing to be able to say about someone's job. But to have someone who may be able to know what they're doing faster, may be able to try and speed this process up a little bit more. But yeah, it's a decent start. It's a decent start. Albeit again a little bit too late. I'm just gonna take a swig of my brew. Usually I do that when that's on the screen, so you don't see me drinking that. But it is what it is today. Let's go back through the chat then. Tino says, about time, verified email account should only improve it. But the verified email accounts, you can create an account like that in 2 seconds on Gmail, for instance. Like, how many times how quick did the Garlic Clark email address get put through? Like, you guys are ruthless when it comes to creating stuff like that, and that's an inside joke between us guys. So despite us having an inside joke between us, how quickly can people do that for a malicious content, especially adding it to their bot so that 7,000 accounts get created? Next thing you know, there's a hate raid coming through and 7,000 people with brand new verified accounts get brought through. The mobile phone thing is a little bit different because I don't know how many accounts you can attach to your mobile phone. Hopefully it's only one, because why would you need more than that? But here we go. But if it's bots, can they verify the email? That's a good question. I do. Maybe. I mean, they've found ways to be able to try and create email addresses without having to go through that find the traffic lights, or find the zebra crossing, or is there a bicycle in this picture? Like, there's ways to be able to get around that. So I imagine it's a lot easier. The mobile phone thing, obviously, it being registered to whatever network it is, I think that's a little bit more difficult for them to be able to get through the net. But either way, as long as there's more blocks there for you to be able to get past, the better, in my opinion. Even if you have to jump through 15 different hoops to be able to try and get a verified Twitch account. It's just, it's kind of the same process that people want being put in for Twitter accounts. Like, they want you to be able to have your ID attached to it. Obviously, that comes with its own pros and cons. But without being political, sometimes that may not be an option for most people, especially if they're a governmental-run nanny estate, where their internet, like in China, the people can only game for 1 hour a day. Like, what does that mean? Like, how can you get around that? Like, these different presses that get put through, sometimes they are used to try and get away from the propaganda that they have been put into. I know this is very political, and I'm not a very political person, so I'm probably, what I'm saying, take it with an absolute pinch of salt, because I don't really pay that much attention to it all. But there are countries in the world that are having everything given to them like we covered a story about people only being able to play games for 1 hour a day in certain countries. Like, their whole internet is just being completely taken down for 23 hours of the day, and you can only play video games for an hour a day. That is ridiculous. Like, you cannot use your time yourself. You are being dictated to. So there are countries that, if you want to try and get around this, obviously with the use of VPNs and trying to use social media to try and bring all of this attention to that country, to try and get these tyrants out of power positions. Again, this is very political, and I'm trying to be very careful about what I say, because I don't want this to come through as fake news, because I don't know it all inside out. All I can go off is what we've covered in terms of articles. Some of these things cannot be put forward or cannot be legalized, but it'd be cancelled in China. I won't be stepping foot over there. But anyway, Next Gen Base said, sadly, people are dicks. Give them anonymity. I cannot say that word. Anonymity. And that just increases. Good move, even if it's a little bit too late. Tina says it depends how long it takes to enable their platform. That saying silent on it until the tools are available is a bad move, wise, or at least acknowledge it. I think they did acknowledge it, but it was very much minimal. Like, you would expect something a little bit more, considering that your streamer family, because they are all obviously streaming on the platform, are being attacked by mindless people. You'd at least be saying stuff to metaphorically put your arm around the people who are being abused, but that didn't seem to happen, and it's taken way too long for that to be the case. Next Gen Base says linking to a phone isn't necessarily about having one person, it's about accountability. Exactly, they can find out who you are, and that's what people don't want. Obviously, you can spoof mobile numbers left, right, and centre. Again, for the average consumer, though, who may have just stumbled across these bots to try and hate raid, maybe they aren't that intelligent, but who knows? I mean, they've been caught. 2 people have been caught who have been creating this hysteria, so they can't be that intelligent unless people who on Twitch and the FBI are getting involved or whatever, and they've been able to try and track them down. Nanny Estate, a wild Wayne Rooney appeared. Says Graham, if my account gets used in a hate raid, I'll be shitting bricks if my phone suddenly started ringing. Exactly, but you want to put precautions in there to be able to have 2-step verification. 2-step verification is like one of the greatest things that's ever been. The amount of emails I get from people trying to hack my Steam account, I must get 4 or 5 a day. I mean, I don't know what they're trying to get in there. What they're going to do, find out how much time I've been spending playing Football Manager or ESO, like, whatever, mate. The only account that's ever been hacked of mine is my Netflix account many, many years ago. And I had to phone Netflix up to try and get them to take it back. I mean, this is probably sounding like a welcomed attack on my accounts and things like that now. But 2-step verification is absolutely amazing. If you don't have that on nearly everything that you could potentially have it on, then that just kind of feels natural selection at this point. But yeah, it's very difficult to be able to try and get around that stuff, especially if you have all the stuff on your phone, unless someone literally robs your phone. If someone ever robbed my phone, I am fucked. Put it that way. I imagine most of you guys probably are as well. Not in terms of getting cancelled, I mean like all my accounts being taken off. But anyway, Tito says, I'd like to see a social media agreement between companies and email addresses banned either temporarily or permanently. All social media accounts should be banned for that duration. That will never happen. That will genuinely never happen, because why would they want to lose their play? Why would they want to lose their player base? Like, people are fighting for minutes. Like, has anyone been watching the morning show? I'm not talking about like Good Morning Britain or anything like that. I'm talking about the one that Apple's been putting out. that's a fantastic insight into what actually happens. Like, people aren't asked about what it is that you're watching. They're all about having the view. So if it's a controversial opinion and they know they're going to get your attention in the morning, that's why having Piers Morgan on Good Morning Britain was a massive success for them, because people love to hate him, and the amount of shit that he used to come out with, people used to tune in for that shit. So if the more people that they have on their platforms, the more they can brag about it, the more advertisement revenue that they will end up getting paid to advertise to you. Like, if they don't have that, if they don't have the people on that platform, all of that stuff goes by the wayside. So more people, they don't care about the quality of the people on there as long as they have the people to be able to advertise to. So that's, I don't think will ever happen, regardless of the bad shit that people will be spouting about. These people will be welcomed on other platforms. Behind the scenes, they will be high-fiving that they've got these people on the platforms because they have more target revenue to be able to put into your face. So they won't universally do that by any stretch. I don't think so. Mate, I need that clip of two-step quote to ping everyone I know. As someone who works in IT, I've had multiple attempts rolling out across businesses. Fuck me. Having said that, if you turn around to someone and say, if someone guesses your password, they can see your nudes. Unless this is in one place, they'll shit themselves immediately to do it. Right. Again, absolutely, exactly. I mean, the stuff that you will see on my phone is just generally meme shit. Like, there is nothing worth looking at on my phone. This is just kind of looking like a fucking welcome invite now, innit? But yeah, it's like when the people were saying about the government listening to your conversations. They would be bored. They would leave the conversation before anything even remotely got said. That was interesting. I just waffle a load of shit about City, about Elder Scrolls, about whatever. It's just generally not a good conversation. But anyway, moving swiftly on before I end up doxing myself. Let's move on to this new article. I can't remember the running order that I had in my head that I wanted to go through everything because I've just been waffling for a load of shit. But we'll move on to this one because I do think this is well, all the articles are pretty good today. Do you know what I mean? We don't do things by halves. But anyway, the first Battlefield mobile footage leaks online. This has been written by Sean Murray over at The Gamer, and it states that footage of the Battlefield mobile alpha is arriving on social media, and it does look like Battlefield. What would you expect? I'm just turning my diffuser off because it's starting to tickle the back of my throat now. It was just 2 weeks ago that EA announced that Battlefield's arriving on mobile. Battlefield Mobile Technical Alpha began in the Southeast Asia just last weekend, and any gameplay footage has already been leaking online. Videos posted to Reddit and YouTube show what appears to be a game of conquest in somewhat Arabic-looking metropolis. The gameplay shows features relatively basic graphics, but this is a mobile game, and it's still in early development. We can likely expect things to improve as the testing phase progresses. As expected, Battlefield's touchscreen controls let you move with your left thumb and right actions with your right, similar to how other mobile shooter games. Everyone is currently called unnamed player during the technical alpha, except for a few except for a few exceptions. Okay, that threw me off a little bit, but yeah, that makes perfect sense. We got to see a little bit of the destructible environment EA mentioned when a T-72 tank shows up to start blowing away players. It seems that these alpha testers aren't aware that they need to be a little bit something more potent than small armed fire to take down an armoured behemoth. Light walls and boxes are destroyed when tank fires its cannon, but concrete walls and buildings remain standing. All in all, looks like Battlefield Mobile is exactly what it says on the tin. A mobile version of Battlefield. EA mentioned that there will be various game modes, including the final release, as well as customizable weapons, vehicles, and player models. The playtest will start in the Philippines and Indonesia, but more regions are coming. Check it out on the iOS Store and Google Play to see when pre-registration may be coming to your region. In other Battlefield news, it's coming out in November. That's all you need to know. So yeah, this is something that we've talked about many times on this channel. We've talked about mobile games like this coming to mobile, but not coming to Nintendo Switch, and that is exactly where I want this to start. I want this to start on the mobile versions of the games. It's annoying that they are coming to mobile and not coming to Nintendo Switch. It's kind of annoying in every sense of the word, because these games would translate so well over to mobile. Onto Nintendo Switch, but we don't seem to be getting them. The likes of PUBG, the likes of Call of Duty, the likes of Battlefield, all these games are more than playable on your mobile device, but we ain't getting them over on the Nintendo Switch. Instead, we're getting things like Modern Combat 5 or whatever it is, which is an okay shooter, but in the grand scheme of things, it's no Battlefield, it's no Call of Duty. So if you've got games like Warframe that are absolutely fucking massive and are doing so well on the Nintendo Switch, why are we not getting games like this? is it because they want people to be playing on mobile? Is it because of Nintendo's back end and the way that they process the video games? Like, what is it that they aren't? Why isn't it that they're putting out? I mean, I feel like we kind of need answers, and it feels like nobody's asking the question, or they are answering. They're asking them, but they're not getting the correct answers, so that's why they aren't giving us that kind of information. It's kind of annoying. But hopefully at some point these kind of games will come over to the Switch, especially when you got things like the OLED model coming out. Like that is it's a bit bizarre, but it is what it is. But I'm gonna go through the chat again. Shogun Ash says, "You what, mate? You want some?" Yeah, mate. I'll fucking take you down anytime. Are we going for some TCG? Are we doing what? Like, I'll take you out on the pitch. Like, what we saying? What are you saying, mate? Let's fucking have it. Next Gen Base says, I love that argument. The government does have the manpower to listen to every conversation every minute of the day. They analyse it and then take action. But sure, they want to listen to you banging on about Sandra next door, about her kids won't shut the fuck up and stop stomping down the stairs. Mate, that is... You couldn't have put a more true thing into your sentence there. Like, no one's listening to you talk about fucking waffling on shit. Like, no one generally has the manpower for that stuff. So I don't understand why people think that their conversation is so fantastic that people will want to listen to it. Most of the time, I zone out from most people talking because it's just something that I don't want to talk about or whatever. Like, it goes right over my head. Samantha goes mad at me all the time because apparently I ignore her on purpose. I don't see it like that. But anyway, Tito says, as someone who's learnt the hard way about generosity, spending £150 on stolen KFC for someone other than Bastard in Reading, I can agree. Two-factor is amazing and everyone should use it. How the fuck do you even spend £150 on KFC? I mean, I would. If I had £150 worth of KFC being given to me, I will take that down, no questions asked. A little bit different when it's coming out your own pocket, but you could do 150 quid of KFC. I mean, it's like 25 quid for a bargain bucket, do you know what I mean? Okay. Graham's grassed us up. That's exactly why. Oh, great. Okay, let's bring this up on screen. This is probably where you find out that I've actually blocked Shogun Ash on Twitter. Oh no, it says that I'm following him. It says that I'm following. Okay, 1 second. Pause that. Bring this up on screen. So it does say that I'm following. Do I unfollow? Do I block? Can I block? Oh, okay. We'll do it that way. Anyway, let's see what this says. Probably know him. He's a fantastic... I mean, Shogun Ash, you guys probably know him. He's a fantastic streamer, fantastic content creator. Shit at Pez, but he's a fantastic content creator. I mean... So yeah, he has well and truly grasped me up there. I did realise that was probably quite... It's muted. Okay, yeah, that's why. It is coming through the speakers, because I have browser muted. So yeah, let's try again. Let's turn it down on the speakers. Shogun Ash, you guys probably know him. He's a fantastic streamer, fantastic content creator. Shit at Pez, but he is a fantastic content creator. I mean, Shogun Ash, you guys probably... So yeah. I mean, I think I've just muted that for myself, but it's coming out to you guys. So yeah. But anyway... The wavelength stuff is fantastic, apart from every single time I go live, the settings don't stay the same, so I have to keep on changing everything, which is a massive pain in the ass. But anyway, Shogun Ash, whenever you want it, lad, I'm here. Whenever you want it, I'll fucking take you out, son. No questions asked. Let's go back through the chat again, because I want to see if there's anything you want. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go, mate. I'm not giving you a bank number, says Tito to Enix. Mate, just got a digital bank account. I use accounts like Monzo for all my spending, including Apple Play, completely separate from my main bank account's ultimate protection. Lol muted. Is that coming through your speakers? We want a Bibby versus Shogun showdown. Mate, last time we did a Bibby versus Shogun showdown, it was in the ICU studios. I don't even know if I was working there then. I think I was literally just a content creator back then. And I was Flamengo, and I'm fairly certain it was Bayern Munich. Can anyone remember this? Can anyone remember when Gabriel Barbosa ended up bagging 2 goals? I mean, we went full blue after we got the first one, and we beat him on the counter attack. But I'm fairly certain that Big Bibby came in clutch and took over. You know, he was the #1 player in the community that day. But that's just my 2 pence. You know what I mean? That's none of my business, as they say in the business. the sweet taste of victory. I mean, that was probably like 3 years ago. Fuck me, I need Noah's Ark. Rain is biblical out there. Do you know what? In Manchester at the moment, it's okay. Yesterday was horrific. This morning was horrific. But it's easing up there. But Samantha did say that there is 80% chance it's going to rain for the next 6 days in a row. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. Shogun says, "You little shit." He's been running ever since. I don't know what you're talking about, mate. I don't know what you're talking about. There is no challenges that's been avoided over there. I mean, I may still be. I mean, this is absolutely. If anyone wants to type exclamation mark 3D in the chat, this is absolutely not something that's been gifted to us by Ben, because he's a fucking top guy and he loves PlayStation and he loves us. But this is a trophy that I got for winning that day. Is it right? I mean, it's only a little small one, but it's a trophy. I mean, if I put it this big, it looks fucking massive. Do you know what I mean? It looks massive. It looks bigger than my head. But that's the trophy that I got that day. Oh, there we go. It's there. But yeah, that's the trophy that I won that day, and I've been loving it ever since. I mean, you're the one that's been dodging me, if I'm being perfectly honest. So, if you want to get this rivalry back on the road again, mate, I'm more than whatever game. Pick a game. I don't fucking care. I'll take you on any of them. Anyway, for you guys that may not know, again, Shogun Ash, fucking class content creator. Shit a Pez, but he is a class content creator. So do feel free to go over and follow him, even if he does give out all the gob, but he hasn't got anything to back it up. A lot of people like that, to be fair, but we just call him a little bit irrelevant or whatever. But enough of that shit, enough of the waffle, enough of the calling out. We've done enough of that today. We'll see him on the pitch whenever he decides to grow a pair of bollocks. But yeah, we're going to slip onto something a little bit more for size. You guys know it. I'm wearing the top right now. You may have seen it yesterday getting put over on social media, so we're going to run through it today. Resident Evil 4, ladies and gentlemen, the VR version has got new footage and has a release date written by Andy Robinson over at VGC. It says the Oculus 2 Quest exclusive is out next month, which is fantastic. That doesn't say that. That's just my thoughts and opinion. Capcom and Oculus have released the first extensive gameplay footage of Resident Evil VR. The VR version of the survival horror classic was first announced earlier this year. The game is being developed by Amateur Rico and will be exclusive to the Quest 2. On Monday, Capcom confirmed an October 21st release date for Resident Evil VR. Sorry, I don't know what the hell was going on with my throat there. Alongside its new trailer, in addition, IGN has published its own gameplay footage. That burp just come out of nowhere. I am so sorry. I'm just talking and started burping. Oh, God, this has been an absolute fucking shambles. Gameplay footage showing the VR version in action. Let's just put this on screen so I can shut up a second. I don't think this has...
What are you buying?
There we go. Yeah, it's got no... Welcome back. Does that not look sick or what? That looks amazing. Bang up for that. But anyway, Resident Evil VR supports both full motion movement and teleportation travel, according to the publication. One of the biggest changes to Resident Evil 4 in VR is how items are managed. You'll now be able to draw your weapons to items directly from your virtual body, whether that's reaching for your belt for a gun or pulling health item from your left shoulder. Entire puzzles and other objects like the typewriter used to save has been recreated in VR to be fully interactive as well. In 2005's Resident Evil 4 is Capcom's highest rated game of all time, according to review aggregation site Metacritic, with sale total 10.4 million copies across various platforms. It's basically because you can buy it on absolutely everything. As reported by VGC last year, the Resident Evil 4 remake has been in development since 2018 and led by Osaka-based M2, the studio founded by former Platinum Games creator Tatsuma Miyamine. More recently, sources told VGC that M2 has seen its role significantly reduced on the unnamed project, and mainline Resident Evil studio Capcom Division 1 brought in to lead a new direction. So, ladies and gentlemen, Next month, we are still in September. Next month, we'll see the release of Resident Evil 4 in VR over on the Oculus 2. Now, I hope that this is going to be exclusive for a certain amount of time so that people who may have PlayStation VR or may have the HTC Vive for their PC or the Index or so, whatever it is, I hope it's going to be an exclusive for a certain amount of time rather than forever, because this game deserves everyone to be able to play it. Resident Evil 4 is a fantastic game. It's not my favourite. I do believe Resident Evil 4 changed the way that we played video games. We mentioned this yesterday. We mentioned this all the time. The over-the-shoulder camera, that has been adopted into pretty much every single third-person shooter game since. So is this going to change the way that we play VR games? Maybe not. We did have Resident Evil 7 in first person over on the PlayStation, which was fantastic. It was shit yourself scary. You had to wear nappies to be able to complete that game. It was a fantastic experience. I want to be able to try this myself, and I don't want to be able to only have the Oculus 2 to be able to play it. But I think they're the ones that actually ended up helping fund this one, so it doesn't surprise me. I do think it will come to other platforms later down the line as well, which is, again, fantastic for the average consumer that may have a VR headset already that loves Resident Evil and be able to play this at their own time and their own preferred platform. So I'm going to bring up the chat again so I can read through it. Show says, you little shit, he's been running ever since. Oh, we've read through that one. Some might say he's just big enough for tears. Next Gen Base says, fuck's sake, babe, don't drag me into your grudge match bullshit. Tezbad says, it's 8:30 at night here, and it's Adelaide, and it's 20 degrees here still. It's about 12 here in Manchester, which is obviously why I'm wearing my big insert coin hood, exclamation mark insert coin, if you want to get 20% off your next order. It is only for one order only, so bulk it all up. Shaw says, this guy, Screw Up Loads is laughing at my burp. Need to figure out a price for it. Still waiting for a 3D Master Chief helmet. This looks brilliant, but absolutely fuck playing more Resident Evil in VR. It was brilliant. Resident Evil 7 was brilliant in VR, especially because it had that first person. I mean, Resident Evil 7 absolutely brought it back to its glory days. It encapsulated everything you'd want from a survival horror game in a very narrow corridor with the atmosphere. Maybe not Spencer Mansion-like, but having the Baker family house being the entire game, barring the assault mine towards the end. It was so atmospheric in that house. It was so narrow. There were so many different places to be able to go to it, and playing it in VR was terrifying to say the least. So being able to play Resident Evil 4 again and having the chainsaw guy come after you, that's a different gravy. That is different gravy. That is shit yourself scary. So yeah, I'd love to be able to play that. We stuck a mate in a kitchen demo back in the day and got stabbed him and flicked water at him when it happened in game. Think he did a poo. Did anyone? Right? I know this is completely off topic, right? And it's something that I mention all the time, but you can't really find the information about it now, and you most certainly can't find that much footage of it. But way back in the day, I went to Disneyland 20 years ago. My grandma and granddad took me and my sister, and there was a ride there called, I'm sure it was called XS, right? And it was a 4D ride. You sit in a giant room, and it has a circle of chairs all the way around, and it had a giant cylinder, and it definitely looked like something out of Alien. But it was the first 4D ride that I'd ever been on. And it was like a horror experience, which is, I don't want to say that it shapes the way that I think about horror consumption these days, but it was probably one of the most terrifying things that I'd ever been in. I was only either 9 or 10 at the time. I don't know what point in the year it was that I went to, but it was in the year 2000 anyway. In fact, I must have been 9 because I wouldn't have been 10 until December, and we definitely didn't go then. But anyway, in this room, horror setting, and it's about these people who have created the first human monster alien kind of thing. So obviously everything goes wrong, and the room goes dark, and you feel all this air coming at you as if like the monster's running past you or the alien, and then all the water comes and hits you on the face as you can hear it breathing down your neck and stuff. Like, that was absolutely terrifying, and that is literally the only way that I could describe what Resident Evil 7 is playing like through experiences that I've had like that. If you ever, I don't think that the access ride isn't there, because last time I went was 4 years ago when I proposed to Samantha. That the ride wasn't there anymore. It's changed to something completely different. So I was a little bit devastated that I never got to witness it again, because I was far too young to even. I was having nightmares about that shit. It was fantastic. But if you've never been on that ride, that's probably the closest I could probably get to showing what Resident Evil 7 was like, with the atmosphere, having the earphones on. Obviously, it's not 4D, but having the goggles on and being in that world, that's what VR does very well. And having the Valve Index, having your fingers being able to put into the glove, being able to feel that gun, and everything. That would be a fantastic experience to have with this, and it's unfortunate we're not getting it yet. Hopefully it's only a console exclusive for a certain amount of time, so we're able to have that experience. But anyway, that's beside the point. It's a shame, but I can't wait to see people stream this. If they can stream it, I don't even know if you can stream from the Oculus headset. Can you plug it into your PC and stream that way? I don't know. I've seen Shroud play PUBG do it, so I imagine you're probably able to. How many news articles have we got left? It's starting to take up now. All right, we've got 2 news articles left. We're going to finish with what Jordan put into the scoop this morning, into the Discord. So we'll run this one. This is an update on the Activision Blizzard stuff that we've been covering for the last 3 months or so. 1 second. To do a little cough there. Activision Blizzard set to pay $18 million in settlement after being sued by the U.S. Employment Commission, written on VGC by Don Pepiat. It states that the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunities Commission is the latest group to join the long line of state and federal bodies in successfully suing Activision Blizzard. The EEOC filed a complaint against Activision Blizzard yesterday, alleging that the company was responsible for employees facing sexual harassment, pregnancy discrimination, and related retaliation. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. And now Activision Blizzard had revealed that it's reached a settlement. Under the agreement, Activision Blizzard has committed to create an $18 million fund to compensate and make amends to eligible claimants, reads a statement issued by the company. Any amounts not used for claimants will be divided between charities that advance women in the video games industry or promote awareness to around harassment and gender equality issues, as well as company diversity, equality, and inclusion initiatives, and approved by the EEOC. The agreement is subject to court approval. The court documents have revealed that this investigation has been ongoing since November 2018, and September 2018. Despite extensive conciliation discussions, the EEOC has not been able to reach an acceptable conciliation agreement until directly sued by the company. There is no place anyway. There is no place anywhere at our company for discrimination, harassment, or unequal treatment of any kind, and I'm grateful of the employees who bravely shared their experiences, reads a statement from Bobby Kotick, and I am sorry to anyone to have experienced inappropriate conduct, and I remain unwavering in my commitment to make Activision Blizzard one of the world's most inclusive, respected and respectful workplaces. As per Eurogamer, though, it's hard to take Kotick's words at face value when you know that he is at home roughly $154 million dollars in 2021, seems to dwarf the 18 million in comparison. This comes after we've seen a selection of high-profile industry figures that leave the company in the wake of the sexual harassment and discrimination lawsuit that was filed against the publisher back in July. There has been so many milestones in this case, from Bobby Kotick getting subpoenaed as the SEC investigates Activision Blizzard over its workplace misconduct, to shareholders suing Activision Blizzard for hiding the sexual harassment probe before it went mainstream, to its tumultuous for few months for the company. Jesus, I just Xbox bossed it there. But yeah, I agree with this. I agree in the sense, where does it say? As per Eurogamer, it's hard to take Kotick's words at face value when you know that he is taking home roughly $154 million in 2021. It seems to dwarf the $18 million in comparison. Take away the figures. It's hard to take Kotick's words at face value when you know full well that he is getting sued left, right, and centre. This is definitely to try and save face. He has. We don't know the absolute ins and outs of this court case. We don't know exactly what's been going on there as well. All we know is what's been reported, and it's very difficult to be able to separate what he's saying and what he means from what's actually happened. So is he saying this now on the back of what's been brought to his attention, or did he already know this stuff was happening in the first place and he's just tried to paper over the cracks? Like, I'm definitely of the latter, but I don't want to side with him on this at all, because I believe that he has created a toxic environment. There is no way that the amount of people that have been axed from the job, that he didn't know all this stuff was happening. I do feel like he has played a part in all of this as well, and he is just trying to save face at this point in time because his whole workplace is crumbling around him, and rightly so. Like, there is no way that you could get away with this for much longer, especially when we are living in a world where equal rights should be a thing being put through every single company, regardless of how much money they're making or if it's your favourite game. Like, the people who work there should be treated should be treated equally and treated with respect, and that isn't the case. That's been going around Activision Blizzard, which is why it's been dragged through the mud for the last 5 months. So I do think that he is saying this to try and save face, to make out that he is actually a good guy, and he is trying to help his workforce by giving them money. Is that money to try and silence them? Who knows? There is a lot that's still to be uncovered from these court cases, and I don't think we'll get a resolution within the next 12 months for this. It wouldn't surprise me if at the end of it he will have to step down. Whoever comes in his place needs to do a better job of trying to manage their workplace, because I do not believe for a second, especially after the fact that we found out that they was shredding documents where people have gone to HR to try and, you can't even say whistleblow, to try and say, my manager's a fucking perv, and they are shredding documents to try and hide that. Like, what is the culture that they've got going on there? And $18 million compared to his $154 million that he's managed to generate this year alone, regardless of any other game that's come before it, or any other games that have come before it. I don't want to say the money will solve everything, and it definitely won't, but you should be more worried about the culture that's going around rather than trying to give money to people to try and, I don't want to say silence them, because that isn't, I imagine that's not why he's doing it in the first place, but it won't solve everything. It starts from the top, and we need to find out what exactly has been being covered up. I think that's the only way that you're able to try and find out what has actually gone on there. But we will never know all of these details until something comes through in court. Like, it's all hearsay for the time being. Until we find out exactly what's been going forward with this one. And the shredding of documents, you definitely think that something else has been going on there. So yeah, again, the workplace needs to be sorted out first before anything else gets awarded money-wise. You want people to feel safe going into work, and that's exactly what we've talked about this before. Like, the people who are working on these games have probably enjoyed, especially the likes of World of Warcraft. A lot of people who are working on it now, if they are in their early 20s, this game would have been probably what they grew up playing on. And it would have been their dream job to work there. They get there and they realise that it is one of the most abysmal workplaces in the world. Like, there's so much shit going on around them that takes away from the actual games itself, and the culture that's been created there is so toxic that it's not even worth going in for. And someone has whistleblown and everything's starting to crumble around them. People will be shitting themselves. People have had to leave. People are being sued out of their ass. So yeah, eventually things will come good for Activision Blizzard, and people who are in power there may not be there for much longer. So yeah, again, culture from the top down to the bottom needs to be changed, and it looks like they are making great strides in making that a safe place for people to be able to work. And this isn't the only workplace that's obviously that's been happening. This is right the way throughout, not just video games. It's across every single aspect, whether or not it's media or not. This is where walls start to get taken down, and people are starting to uncover some of the dodgy things that have been happening there. It just shows that places aren't always what they're cracked up to be. But anyway, moving on. Again, when more stuff like this comes forward, we will be able to cover them and try and give our opinions. It's very difficult for me on my own to be able to give my own opinions of it, because that's exactly what it is. Just my own opinions. I see Next Gen Base in the chat. I said, this Activision on the defensive, they know they'll get reamed for it in court. Exactly. That's it. I think that's probably most people's opinions, and if I did have another co-host with me today, we'd be able to dig deeper into that one. But my opinion is they've been caught out, and they are trying to silence with the $18 million, which is not even a quarter of what they've been able to make this year alone. But anyway, finishing with a little bit more of a positive note. This is something that Jordan did put into the scoop this morning on Discord. If you are a Halo fan, now's the time for you to start pricking up. And no, show, I'm not calling you a prick. But VGC writes, Tom Ivan at VGC writes, Halo Infinite's multiplayer test is open to all Xbox Insiders this weekend. New users can sign up now to be eligible to participate. Microsoft is opening this weekend's Halo Infinite multiplayer technical preview to all Xbox Insiders. Players interested in participating and are not already signed up to the Insider program can do so by installing the Xbox Insider app from the Microsoft Store. This weekend's technical test is scheduled to take place from October 1st to October 3rd. Players who complete the 10 matches during this period will receive a special emblem for their Spartans when the game launches in December, and the dates are listed here. If you are listening to this on demand, if you go to any of the Xbox social medias, whether or not it's Halo or Xbox. This will be listed for you. I'm not going to read it all out because we will be here for a while, but it tells you the game modes and what times that they are open for you to be able to jump in. Data miners have uncovered the fact that a significant amount of content from Halo's Infinite technical preview this weekend, including weapon charms, armor FX, and more. Of particular note, the numerous emblems are said to be included in Halo Infinite, many of which are based on popular internet memes. Having originally been scheduled for release in November 2020 as an Xbox X and S launch title, Halo Infinite will now be released on consoles and PC on December 8th, the day before Bibby's birthday, so get that in your calendars. And Halo Infinite's campaign will be released alongside the game's free-to-play multiplayer component. So, if you are an Xbox insider, you are able to play this weekend. I'm going to leave this. I'm not going to bother installing this. One, I'm not going to be here this weekend. And two, I want this game to be. I want to be able to play the best version of the game. I don't know Halo enough to be able to go, this is great, this is fantastic, this isn't that very good. We leave that to the likes of Jordan, who will know this game inside out, and he will give us his thoughts and feelings off of the back of this. He is not one to mince his words. If he thinks it's shit, he will say it's shit. If he thinks it's great, he will probably bash it into existence and shove it in your face until you actually say, yeah, this looks great. But I trust his word on this more than anybody. So I will wait to hear what he says on Monday when we join the scoop again and find out what the hell has actually been going on. But I will more than happy to wait until the day before my birthday to find out if this game is good or not, and just jump in when everyone's kicking ass over on the multiplayer section of this game. But ladies and gentlemen, that is it for... I better bring my face back on screen, Anna. There we go. There's the moneymaker. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today's scoop. Thank you very much for joining us for just over an hour's worth of content. Obviously, that does include the countdown and stuff like that, so it's probably less than about 55 minutes or so. So I very much appreciate every single one of you that have dropped by today, especially Jordan for putting these news articles into the scoop section of the Discord, which I will go into in a minute. But that is our second show of 5 done. We still have 3 more left. So if you want to help shape those shows, there is 2 ways that you can do that. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or get involved with our Discord, very much like Jordan did this morning. All we need from you is URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at around 10 o'clock-ish. It's definitely going to be about 11 o'clock. But that's what you guys all should have your notifications on for, whether or not it's over on our social medias or our Twitch channel. Please get them notified. You will find out when we go live, because 1, you'll be notified in Discord. 2, you'll be notified on social media. And 3, you'll be notified over on Twitch. So again, we very much appreciate it, guys. But yeah, that is it for today. Again, there'll be no games this afternoon. There may be some this evening, who knows. But as of this afternoon, it's Tuesday. It's our long day. We will be fighting through all of our workload. But yeah, I'm going to try and find out who we can raid this straight after this, so we can go give some love over to whoever it is that we tend to fire you over to. But until tomorrow, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. 2 things I always want you to do. First of all, I want you to look after yourselves, and second of all, I want you to stay frosty.